And we are back on the build phase. I'm Mr. Ben. And today, instead of diving deep into Versus history, I am going to talk about some Versus news because we actually have some. And in true Upper Deck fashion, this is a bit of a news sandwich. Like there's a good thing in here, and it's surrounded by. I mean, I don't want to be accused of driving people away from the game just by observing reality with my eyes and then talking about it, but I'm gonna have to say some negative things, I'm afraid. Okay, so to begin, yesterday there was a post on Facebook by Jason Roosevelt, which was a screenshot of a Instagram post by Upper Deck. Now, I don't have or use Instagram, so I have not gone and looked up this exact post, but presumably there is no additional information contained within the Instagram post that Jason didn't screenshot. So I'm gonna go through this and then we're gonna talk about it. Okay, so in the upper right hand corner of this ad banner, it says UD Store exclusive, which is no longer news, but Upper Deck, other than like some posts on Discord, Upper Deck has not like directly engaged with this. This is a major announcement that Upper Deck has just kind of like slid under the rug, slid past us. It's actually insane. It's kind of unprofessional. But let's okay, hang on. I'm getting to the critique. Let's talk about the facts of the matter. So this expansion is called Defenders of Hell's Kitchen. From the picture on the ad image, it appears to be a 200 card box. It says Return to Hell's Kitchen with Daredevil and the Kingpin of Crime. And then the caption along with it, Return to Hell's Kitchen with Daredevil and the Kingpin of Crime and Versus 2 PCG Defenders of Hell's Kitchen. Customize your new team or enhance your existing decks with 9 new and returning main characters. Are you ready to help defend the city? So on the box, we see Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Daredevil, and Jessica Jones. Now, out of all of these characters, the one that I really want to see a new version of is Jessica Jones. Now, you might say, oh, well, the Jessica Jones 3-drop has seen so much play. And I agree. There was a period of the game where the Jessica Jones 3-drop was like so overplayed that it was exhausting. But it's been years. Like, this has not been a staple, commonly occurring card for quite a long time. So I wouldn't care if the original 3-drop came back, but I'm excited to see a new version of her because I'd like to see another main character. I actually liked the original Jessica Jones main character, but the problem was any format where she's legal, the 3-drop is also legal. And this is one of those cases where the supporting character was just such a staple that the main character saw almost no play. I did play against a Jessica Jones deck in a Origins tournament one year, and I believe that was where I met Bert. I think that was the first time we met was when he was playing Jessica Jones, and he told me that I let him down because I ended up on Thor at that tournament, the Thorigins event. Fair enough. So Upper Deck posting all of this information to so on the positive side, we have a new set coming for sure. We know what it's called. We know what the box art looks like. Can I zoom in enough that I can see Volume 6, Number 2, Defenders of Hell's Kitchen appears to be, maybe that's the arc. I am so confused as to what exactly is going on with our issues and arcs setup now. We've got that one-off Lilith box. It feels like the Lilith box is going to be connected to the Hell's Kitchen box, at least by virtue of the team Underworld. So maybe we could see some more support for the Lilith deck within this new box. But I don't know, not necessarily, because Underworld has been used in 2 different ways in this game. There's Underworld like Mephisto, demons, Ghost Rider-y type stuff, but then there's Underworld like the Underworld of crime, like Kingpin and Bullseye and those kinds of characters. And we have seen boxes where both uses of the word Underworld were kind of mixed together. I don't know if we'll get that this time or not. Given the way this is branded, it seems like they're leaning more heavily into like the seedy underbelly criminal underworld use of the word. But anything that's Underworld could potentially support the Lilith deck, just like good plot twists, special locations, things of this nature. It would be cool to see a Defenders affiliated, playable Daredevil main character. That's something we've never really had in this game. That would be really exciting. May even get an old player. I can think of one old player who might return just for that. So there's a lot of things to look at this box and be kind of excited about. I feel like we've seen enough copies of Luke Cage at this point. I'm not particularly excited to see that guy again. Oh, I guess the only copy of Slapstick, the only version of Slapstick we have in the entire game is Underworld affiliated. It would be really cool to see another Slapstick. Now, I don't know if he belongs Underworld affiliated. I didn't necessarily agree with that the first time around, but that would be very cool. So that kind of sums up the reflection, the analysis of these new cards that we have coming, which is super positive. And if that's all you want to hear, I'm going to say thank you to my patrons for helping keep the lights on around here. These folks help cover the server fees. And if you like what we're doing here, join the coolest clubhouse in Versus at patreon.com/thebuildphase. If you don't want to hear any negativity or observations about things that Upper Deck could be doing better at this moment in time, go ahead and stop listening now, because now I'm going to dig into things that I wish I didn't observe, but I am observing, and it would be dishonest of me to pretend I'm not observing them. So the fact that this was only announced on Instagram is completely insane. What? Since when? Since when in the history of this game has making posts on Instagram been the way that Upper Deck communicates to the community? The people that want to buy this product, the people that are excited to find out about this product, are learning about it through a screenshot of an Instagram posted by a private citizen. Thanks to Jason for posting it, but like, come on, Upper Deck, like this is incredibly unprofessional. Now you might say, oh, well, Ben, sometimes you take screenshots of stuff and post it. Like, isn't that unprofessional? Sure. I'm one dude literally in my pajamas recording this before work. Upper Deck is a company that makes like $120 million a year. What is going on? What is going on? So I thought it's crazy that they only posted. Well, actually, that's not even true. The first thing that I thought was not, oh, they only posted it on Instagram. The first thing I thought was, oh, well, surely there's a blog post about this. So I went to Upper Deck's blog, and I was really surprised. I should have known this, but I was really surprised that Upper Deck has not made a post about Versus since December of last year. There are literally zero posts about Versus for all of 2024 on the Upper Deck blog. What? That's ridiculous. So then I thought, okay, well, maybe they posted about it in the official Discord. Upper Deck Games official Discord Versus chat. Someone asking about the release date for the next expansion. No mention of the expansion from an official source or otherwise. It's all just community chatter. Nobody answered the guy asking when the new expansion was coming. Nothing in the announcements. I went to the Versus specific Facebook page. Hasn't had a post since August of 2023. You see where I'm going with this. This is a bummer. It makes it so hard to be excited about new cards when it feels like Upper Deck is actively doing everything in their power to not tell people about the new cards. Like it feels antagonistic to the health of the game for it to be being handled in this way. And as somebody who's been here from the very beginning, somebody who's a huge fan of the game, I mean, I would argue that I am among the 100 people in the world who care the most about this game. And that maybe even that number is being generous. Like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I've been making a show about the game for years. I'm very invested in this game. I want the game to succeed. I really want positive things for the game. New cards are great. I'm so thrilled to talk about new cards. Why is the only place we can access this information Instagram, when for the entire history of this game, we have gotten new information from Upper Deck on Facebook, on the Upper Deck blog, more recently on the Upper Deck official Discord? Like, they have stopped using all of the avenues of communication that we expect to hear from them through and made a random Instagram post about new cards. Like, why are you not doing the bare minimum to get this information to the people that want this information? Like, what are you doing? And I get, okay, Richard left, Beats left. There's some turmoil. Clearly, it feels like the Versus commitment at Upper Deck is being downsized. But if you have the 30 seconds to make an Instagram post, you have the 30 seconds to make a Facebook post, to make a Discord post, to post in the places where the people who care about this game have gathered for information about this game. I promise I am not trying to be negative for the sake of being negative. I am not trying to come out here and look for things that I can nitpick and be upset about. My last two shows have been me specifically choosing to ignore the negativity that's swirling around our game and focus on talking about the cards, the things that I love the most. But I would be a liar. I would be dishonest. I would be violating the promise of this show if I just chose to not comment on stuff like this going forward. Like, if I allowed myself to be browbeaten by accusations of harming the game, if I allowed that to convince me to not make observations about what's happening in the game, then I feel like it's time to just hang up the show. It's time to just quit. If I can't come out here and be honest about what I think, then there's no reason for me to keep doing this. So I'm going to keep talking about this stuff. And if it lands in such a way that it makes you feel negatively about the game of Versus, well, then I've screwed up, because I don't feel negatively about the game of Versus. I feel negatively about the logistics and the management and the marketing and the stuff that Upper Deck is doing around our game. At the actual playmats, this game is as good as it's ever been, arguably better than it's ever been. The new sets, okay, Lilith was a little bit of a stumble, but it was a cool idea. And I want to heap praise on Super Awesome Games for trying cool ideas, even if they don't always succeed. That's not the point. The point isn't hitting a home run every time. The point is swinging for it. And I think that's really, really cool. Similarly with the zombies, they went for a big thing, and kind of the opposite of Lilith, they maybe overshot the mark a little bit with the zombie stuff. That's all positive. I don't have a problem with either of those sets, and where they, maybe came up a little short in terms of game balance. I think that's totally healthy and fun and fine. The new release model, while my heart breaks for whole swaths of the world that we're losing supporting our game, I get it. I understand. I am a realist. I understand that Versus is not like this massive cash cow. And if Upper Deck had to do some downsizing to keep the game, that is objectively better than canceling the game. I'm not here with an axe to grind. I'm not looking forward to being mad at Upper Deck, but I am just like gobsmacked that we can't get the most basic sort of like brand management, brand care. Why is this advertisement image only on Instagram? Like, as a bare minimum, why is this not posted on the official Discord? Why is this not posted on their Facebook page? The places where we know the players gather to talk about this stuff. It's very disappointing. And I'm willing to give Upper Deck like a lot of charity here. Turnover is a big deal. These last several years in the collectible space have been really, really rough. And if you go back and listen to my shows, when we went like a whole year without releases, I was not coming down on Upper Deck. I'm not a hater. I'm not going out of my way to try to find things to be negative about. I'm just observing the reality as it sits. And if those observations make you think that I'm saying, like whatever the opposite of that, I'm driving people away from the game, well, I'm sorry, but you're accusing the messenger. You're blaming the messenger for Upper Deck's choices. All I'm doing is reflecting on Upper Deck's choices here. So I think there's a lot of cool stuff. I'm excited about this box. I'm excited to see a revisitation of these teams. Like even some of the characters that like aren't my favorite, like Bullseye, getting an Underworld Bullseye that has, playability in 2024. Trying not to hate on the old Bullseye too much, but he is not a playable card in 2024. Seeing some of these faces come back and get a 2024 balance pass, essentially, that's awesome. I just wish Upper Deck hadn't hid this light under a bushel. This has been the Build Phase. I'm Mr. Ben. Go win some games.